It's Saturday. It's Saturday. Saturday. Well, the song goes, it's Friday. It's Friday. Friday. But it's Saturday, so I can't say it. What songs have Oh, Saturday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, love. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, love. It's Saturday, people. I know it's later in the day than normal. Had a lot going on, but it's Saturday and it is time to be silly. With another silly Saturday. Hey, little baby. Hey, Abby. Shondo's around the room. Shondo's everywhere. Let me let you know I always got snacks. What do I have in front of me? So I got some of these from Publix, the salt and vinegar guy, because I had a sub. Um, I got some Reese's white Reese's thins, Reese's Pieces, and then I got some more of the white fudge covered Oreo bites. Oh, happy birthday, Scooter Boo! Happy freaking birthday. As you all are coming in, we have surprises today. We have surprises. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Which anyway, so what is our surprise today? I'm waiting for somebody to ask me what's the surprise today. I'm all excited. I am so excited. I'm so easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning, like a cheap tramp. Just so easy. We do have a guest. Um, Listen, Abby, they have like regular chocolate fudge covered, but the white fudge covered, so good. So I wonder if the notifications went out because normally we would have much more people in here by now, but I don't know what happened. Maybe because I'm on later in the day and people aren't looking for me like they normally would. Anyway, but let me get to my surprise. Our surprise today is the beginning of today's silly Saturday. You interviewing the girl who used Gorilla Glue and not got to be glue in her head. You know what? I saw that and I don't. Maybe we can talk about that later. So, the first half of today's silly Saturday. Hey, Regina, what's going on? Shondo to you, my love. The first half of the no, I'm not teacher project of Silly Saturday today is going to be Freudian slip, dedicated to the Teacher Project 2.0 because we want to get some more traction, some more eyes that normally wouldn't be over there, and get some people to come over there and see what we do and see how we operate. And so, look who is waiting for me backstage.
Hello, everyone.
Hey,
Saturday.
I know this is your second silly Saturday, isn't it? Yeah, because the first one was me, you, and Abby.
Yeah, I think you've let me come on Saturday before, but
Oh
Ty's
yeah,
out of
because
town,
I let you come on
so
my
he,
channel.
he let me grace, silly Saturdays because Ty ain't here. You know.
Anyway,
I know, Abby. I know it's been I know, but I'm gonna call you
she
when I get
don't
off.
call nobody, Abby. She don't call nobody. I was just telling her that today. I was just telling her that today. I can't even get it out right. I was just telling her that, Abby, that she don't try and call nobody. She don't be trying to call nobody.
Don't do me. Don't do me. Because that
Anyway,
pendulum swings both ways. Now, Abby, I ain't talking to you because but El Teddy, the pendulum swings both ways.
anyway, so I guess since it's over here on my channel and we'll go over to Really Beach channel at some point, I get to do hosting duties today. I
You
never
know what?
host.
Funny, I was gonna ask you that. I was like, so you're gonna take the
I'll play
you gonna
host
take the
today. I
lead?
never get to play host. I'm always the sidekick, you know. I'm always just the Robin, the sidekick. I'm just a nobody, just feeling a space god.
I
But
mean, listen,
today,
listen.
today,
I'm Robin to your Batman today, honey.
today,
You ain't gotta do all that now. I don't be
I
doing all
get
that.
to
Now I don't be
play
doing all that now.
host.
Now I don't be doing all that.
Anyway, we are here. Teacher, I don't see. Ebby's not here, so we don't have to worry about people saying they claustrophobic.
I
God,
know, right? I
they
can't
know.
breathe.
Ebby, come on.
Right.
We know where Ty at. Trust me, we are very aware
And El
of
Teddy,
where Ty is.
You know Gina's a star, right? You know she's my
Oh
star.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
I
No,
know she's
I didn't know
a
if you knew or
star.
not. Yeah, I didn't know.
Hey,
Matter of fact, she's a
child, I go to those when
she's
I
on the
had to go to those
district
meetings.
level like you, sir.
Oh, okay. When I had to go to those meetings, I would just go sit over there in the corner. Y'all do what y'all do. I'd be over here sleeping or reading. One, two.
Yeah.
What's going on? Y'all got it. Anyway, uh, hey MVN. So let's talk about some teacher stuff for the
Let's
first
get into
hour,
it. First of all,
and then
can I ask one? Is Nappy Child here? If not, can I ask one of your other mods to drop the link for the Teacher Project 2.0 so people who
yes,
are not
please.
subscribed can subscribe to the Teacher
Yes, please.
Project 2.0? Uh-oh.
If you can, please.
Appreciate it. I know.
And
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Every can do that, or little baby, one of the two. And when you do, I'll try to pin it to the top. I'll try to pin it on YouTube. So,
I love you, Abby. I love you.
a lot went down this week in education.
Yeah,
Really,
we had a couple of
we
them.
had a
Yeah, the last
you.
couple of weeks have been real. See what happens
Wait a
when you
minute.
have
First
somebody
of
who's
all,
competent trying to do something.
right, but wait. First of all, let me say this: you and I collectively cost that lady her job. Did we not? You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Did we not go in on her and say, "Man, why are you still here? Why do you have a job? Why are you on any committee?" And then they snatched Miss
They sure
Marjorie
did.
Taylor Greene. They snatched her. Right? They snatched her.
But here's the thing: Kevin McCarthy really should have done it. I mean,
He's not going to.
I know that that's asking too much, but
Way too
really
much.
how it should have. That's really how it should have broken down. You know, that's really how it should have broken down. And for those who don't know what we're talking about, Marjorie, is it Taylor Greene?
Mm-hmm.
Out of Georgia, congresswoman, freshman congresswoman. There was a lot of controversy about some of the committee assignments, mainly being education, that she would be on the education committee, especially considering the fact that she called Parkland a farce. And, she called one of the survivors of Parkland a coward. She spoke about teachers being able to carry guns in schools and how that is a violation of their Second Amendment rights, for there to be a school zone and people not be able to take their weapons within however many yards of a school. And so we were just like, how does this person, we're not even going to get into the rest of the bull hockey she done said, but how does this person get to become chair? I mean, not chair, but one of the members of the education committee. She wasn't the chair. And so the Republicans had a caucus earlier in the week. They
They
voted on.
had a family meeting. Yes,
Yeah,
let's
they had a family
they had a family meeting.
she
Fayette, I know I'm late today. I'm late today, but we here, Fayette. We gonna have some fun today too. We is gonna have some fun.
Right. With, that's the congressman from Steny Hoyer, but that what his visual aids down to the floor with that blown up picture from her Facebook, and she gave this little half-hearted bull hockey apology,
And
and
then backpedaled off of it.
Yeah, then she came back and
She
backpedaled.
came back once they voted her out. She completely backpedaled and pussy popped off
Right.
that.
But anytime somebody has to say, I do believe that 9/11 happened, I do believe that Parkland was real, that should already let you know right there who you dealing with. Like, that's just, you know. Hey, Fayette. Mwah. Hey, boo.
So we are going to take credit for helping her lose her
I'm fine
job
with that. I'm fine
because
with it.
I know members of Congress are watching us, listening to
Yes,
us on the podcast, and they
absolutely.
are hanging on our every word,
Every
syllable,
word.
letter, and character. Okay.
Well, I got another one. Erase my student loan debt.
Yes, they now that's something that's in some of the bills and
Yeah,
legislation. I know the squad that was a part of some of the stuff they took to Biden when the squad
yeah,
met up with Biden.
yeah,
That and the $15 they had the squad had a whole list
yeah. They
of
did.
stuff.
Yeah,
Mind you, I ain't seen the CBC go over that yet, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Just saying. Just but anyway, this is not about that. We'll keep it education. Let's focus. Let's focus.
focus, focus, El Teddy.
Okay.
Right here.
Anyway, so she lost her job. Also, well, she didn't lose her job, but they canceled her from all her. If you hear sloshing outside, there are snow flurries coming down right now.
You just snow flurrying down there.
Yeah, we got
They
snow
call it the
flurries
snow
going
tomorrow,
on.
but it look. It seems like they changed the thing to rain tomorrow, but it was supposed to snow tomorrow. But it's nice outside.
No,
I don't know what the hell is gonna happen, child.
in the northern part of Atlanta, it's snow flurries.
I
It's
hope
supposed to
it's
be.
rain because I want to go out and watch the Super Bowl. But if it's snowing, I'm not going nowhere.
So, what was I about to say? Oh, so this week we did have confirmation hearings this week for many people on this cabinet. However, hey Belize, hey Lastasia, hey Yana for cabinet members. And the first one that I'm not going to say the first one we cared about, but one that we cared about particularly in on this side. And this is the let me hold on before I do that. Let me catch everybody else. We are here on a silly Saturday. I felt like Beyonce when she said, "We're your dream girl, boy, we'll make you happy." No, but this is why it's silly Saturday. We're silly. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to have a crossover where we integrated part of Silly Saturday and we talked about um and we brought you kind of the stuff that we bring you on the Teacher Project 2.0 so that some of you all that may not regularly watch the Teacher Project 2.0 can kind of see what we do and there could be more eyes and that can get more eyes and attention to the Teacher Project 2.0 and you might know somebody interested in some of the stuff that we present um on the Teacher Project 2.0 and you can we welcome you sharing it out on your Facebook pages, Instagram pages, Twitter pages, and all other social media platforms. The email and Instagram for Teacher Project is scrolling at the bottom. I have also pinned in the chat a the link to Teacher Project's channel if you want to go over and subscribe. Hey Royalty Forever. Hey, what's going on, love? So we had confirmation hearings. I watched it with your boy Miguel Cardona, who was in confirmation hearings to be confirmed as the Secretary of Education. Now I don't know that he's been confirmed yet. No, he hasn't. Not that I've seen. I know he had his confirmation hearings. I know those hearings concluded, but he hasn't officially been installed by Kamala Harris yet, Vice President. Excuse me, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris yet. So, but I'm it's forthcoming because even I will say at the end of the hearing, they all said that even on the Republican side that he was very well suited for the job. There should be no problem with him going through. Some of the things we'll talk about the less controversial things first, and then we'll go to some of the more controversial things. He spoke on state standardized testing. And there are a lot of states that are requiring students that still want students to have to take state tests so that schools can get accountability grades and different things that they need by law in order to receive certain funds and things like that. Some states
That's
are
gas right
saying
there.
no, no, we need a waiver saying that it's not required because of what's going on this year. Hey, Mr. Fit dude, Mr. Fit Brown dude. Hey, Belize, I don't even think I said hey to you. Um, and so we know some states have already asked now. Why is that important on the federal level? We know some of these things are state mandated, but there are some things that are federally mandated that you do need to have test scores that would help trigger whether or not a state is eligible or a district is eligible for certain funds federally. And so they wanted to know how he felt with regard to states asking for waivers, even though students have been in school all year. And he was, I will say this, he was very vague. He didn't give a whole lot of, there wasn't a whole lot of talking points that you took out of it. He played the politician role. He meandered around, talked around. You could tell he had been coached up and everything. Essentially, I left with him stating, we'll when those issues arise, we'll deal with them. He never gave to me really a concrete stance on it. I don't know. Your thoughts, ma'am, or even on that, or how he felt on that, ma'am? Should states be able to get waivers in a year where there was a complete academic school year?
Absolutely, they should be, because this is so. You hit the nail on the head earlier when you said that this is connected to federal funding, and that's why it's a issue. Um, or one of the reasons, I should say, why it's an issue. I absolutely believe that waivers should be given. There's so much um this con, what's the word I'm looking for, disjointedness. um
Disconnect.
no, disjointed, the
Okay.
disjointed. When you look at from school district to school district, even within the states, it's not even, and it's not fair, because like I know, and that's the one thing that I read that quote when he was speaking on that. The one of the articles that I read, it said that you know nothing can replace that in classroom um level of education. Like, it just can't be replaced, that in-person education. And so when you talk about, well, we're going to do state funding, I mean, we're going to do state testing, it's not fair. I use my state as an example, Maryland. It's not fair. My district has been closed all year, and even though they're talking about trying to bring us back in a hybrid model, it won't happen until, at the earliest, the middle of third quarter. The middle. You already They don't even, they start testing at the end of third quarter, early fourth quarter. Fourth quarter is basically a wash. So there are other districts that are within my state that have gone back to in-person teaching. uh, is it fair that we would be tested and then money be, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's fair when there was just no congruency throughout the country, much less state by state. So I think that waivers should just be given across the board. Call it a wash and let us start. I mean, when I say call it a wash, I mean call it a wash as far as the testing and all of that, and let's start fresh in the fall. That's my opinion.
I um I feel both sides of the argument.
Well, give me the
Only
other side of the
the
argument.
other side of the argument, ma'am, is one, it would give us in a lot of states 2 years of no data. 2 years of no data,
I understand.
which, depending on the grade level, is catastrophic. You would have students next year entering 11th grade, and the last time or the last data that you have from them is from 8th grade. And we know across the fruited plains, 10th grade is probably one of the most tested and the most important tested grades across K through 12. So that's one reason why that's important. Two is, and this is going to sound harsh and unfair. However, most states knew going in to this school year, you're going to be virtual. You're going to either be partially or fully online, which means that now there's some learning, um, growing pains in it. There are some bumps in the road, but um, optimally, what that means is that instruction still needs to take place. And
I don't disagree that instruction
but what
takes.
I'm saying is, we know in pedagogy and instruction, the way that the mechanism by which we know that instruction is taking place is some type of an assessment. It may not be a standardized assessment. Like it may, I could say like this: if I were in positions of power, I would say, listen, I don't want to do away with all assessments, but we could do an alternative to assessment. We could do some type of for example, I've seen some states where instead of doing a standardized test, they'll do like a portfolio or something like that, where it's graded and judged, and they have a mechanism by which to translate that into scoring and things like that to assess the students. But to say that we're now going to go 2 years and not have any data and not have any assessment records for their child, to not know where their child is at all, is almost negligent.
Well, I disagree. I disagree. And here's why I'm saying. I hear what you're saying. I don't agree with it, but I hear what you're saying. Because my thing is data, just for the sake of saying you have data, that's not good either, because it's not, the data isn't going to be valid. I hear what you're saying, that we knew we were going to be virtual and this and this, but what I'm saying is the data is disjointed, because across the board there was no universal anything going on.
There wasn't universal before COVID. There was no universality
No,
before
no, no.
COVID.
Yes, there was. What I'm talking about, again, I'll take it from a state perspective.
You mean in terms of how we meet and how instruction takes place?
I'm talking about the data that I'll take it for. I'm talking about the data that's taken. So for example, I can speak for my county. We're still doing benchmark testing, but there's been such a problem with doing the benchmark testing, getting the kids to log on, getting a kid saying, oh, my internet went out, oh, this, oh, that. Whereas in a school, it is a controlled environment. That they're, even though it's still on the computer, they're logging in at the same time. That it's being, that they're sticking to the time limit, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever. That they're taking breaks at the same time. So what I'm saying is, with the kids being at home, they're not Googling the answers. That they're only, if there's a section of the test where they can't use a calculator, they're not using a calculator. So what I'm saying is, doing data just for the sake that we have data, it doesn't make it valid data. And that's the point that I'm making.
I think that you are talking about, I almost feel like you're talking about two different things, but because if you're talking about inequities with regard to any part of it, within regard to the instruction itself, in regard to the assessment and the protocols for assessments, there was never any equality. They don't even take the same test, so there was never going to be any equalities.
So
I'm saying, even before COVID, what I'm saying is, there are mechanisms that were already in place to facilitate things that could take. For example, if we want, and there's still time, we haven't gotten to testing season yet. These things can be worked out. But even if you said we're going to
the same amount of information, because the kids aren't meeting for the same amount of time every day. So I'll speak for myself. Normally, at the end of second quarter, going into third quarter, normally I'm at World War II. I'm at World War II.
But see, that
it's the same thing for the math teachers and for the English teachers. They haven't covered the same amount of information, because instead of meeting for 90 minutes every other day, they're meeting for 60 minutes twice a week. It's not.
But see, if I'm looking down, if I'm somebody making a decision, I would then push back on the superintendents and the school boards and say, now wait a minute, that's something that you should have accounted for.
But how can you
legally
much
in most states,
how do you account for that?
With what? I didn't hear what you said. What I'm saying is, legally,
I don't understand. Okay. Taking everything into consideration about, again, studies and data about how long kids should be in virtual learning and how long they should be sitting in front of a computer before they're given a break. And when, like, a lot of the school districts took all of that into consideration when they made these virtual calendars. So based on that information, and you're in front of it, you're looking at a virtual calendar. That is what we're following. We're following the recommendation of best practices of virtual learning.
But really, that what you're saying is still, it wasn't equitable. Right, the regular school day when they were in person was not equitable because everybody didn't meet.
What are you talking about?
Listen, you're not listening. Before I even got it out, listen to what I'm saying. From a state by state scenario, students were not meeting for the exact same amount of time.
I get that.
In person. So that's what I'm saying. That's one thing that's already inequitable. Even when you talk about how they transitioned to virtual learning and how different states, different districts decided to attack how they were going to have them meet, that still wasn't going to be equitable because it was still up to the respective state, district, or whatever to make a determination as to what they thought was best for their school district. Now, in your district, your superintendent or whoever is in charge and the committee made the decision on however they made it. But what I'm saying is, I would not make a blank broad stroke and say, well, everybody's getting a waiver. I would take it in a case by case scenario, and then I would assess and say, let me see what y'all did. Let me see what y'all put in place. Is it a matter of negligence and a matter of people in positions of power not doing right by that district? Or is it a matter of these people truly have had certain things that are requiring a waiver? Because saying COVID and virtual learning is the mechanism or reason why you should have a waiver is not enough. We already had a large number of students that were doing virtual school anyway.
If that's not enough, what's enough? We are in a global freaking pandemic. Kids are dealing with all types of other issues and PTSD and all of that. How is that not enough to say?
Because what it sounds like to me you're saying is, how is
that not enough? That's crazy.
What it sounds like to me is being said is that we've not had any instructions this year. And
no,
this
that's not
a year that
no,
that's all it
no, it's not. That's
spell it out like that. It sounds
no,
like
that's
that.
No, that's not the same. But what I'm saying is that I disagree. It's not saying that there isn't any instruction, because I know I bust my ass all day, every day. So it's not the same. What I'm saying though is I would not, knowing what I've gone through as an educator this year, I would not want my data to be what I'm ranked by, much less my school, much less my district, based on that. That's just not what I would want, because I know all the challenges that we have faced in getting instruction to students. That doesn't mean that teachers aren't in front of these cameras every day doing their best work. That doesn't mean that. But what that means is it's not as effective as when you are in these kids' faces and you can hold them accountable on a different level. It's not the same. And so when you're saying that I'm going to hold you accountable as if it was a regular school year, I don't think that's fair to anybody. I don't think it's fair to the teachers. I don't think it's fair to the kids. I don't think it's fair to the district. I don't think it's fair to anybody.
But okay, what is the alternative? This year is
the alternative is to give everybody a damn waiver, and let's
but then we would then go into another school year where we could possibly be dealing with this for a third.
But I think that gives everybody enough time to do what you just said. Put all of those things in place that need to be put in place. I think that this year. But
I'm gonna tell you exactly what's going to happen. Exactly what happened over summer of 2020. When we ended school spring of 2020, everybody went into that summer knowing y'all ain't gonna probably be back in the classroom.
That's not true. That's not true.
Really be. Wait a minute. I'll let you get your whole point out. I'll let you get your whole point out.
Okay.
Now, we went through, and if you recall, on the Teacher Project 2.0, shouts out to Teacher Project 2.0, almost every state had some type of legislation, not legislation, I should say, but documents and protocols that they were putting in place for the opening of schools. At the beginning of the summer, I vividly remember all 50 of those states were preparing to have some form, if not complete, virtual learning at the beginning of the fall. What ended up happening was, as we got closer and as a lot of a lot of lawmakers were giving school district pushbacks on that, they started to change that. But my point that I'm trying to make about last summer is there was a ceremonious dropping of the ball, as if there was no knowledge that there was going to be virtual learning. All of these things that you're saying, well, they can start to put these things in place, or they need to start to think about how to mitigate this, or alternative testing and things like that, should have already been done. And even to this point, a lot of places have not done that, and a lot of districts, and I'm not saying the teachers, I'm talking about people in positions of power, are negligent in how they are attacking this, and really having the foresight to say, it's not going to be a case where we're going to be able to say we have 3 years of no testing and no assessment. There's no alternative to the assessment. There's no alternate assessment. There has to be something in order to gauge, because if I'm a lawmaker and I'm pushing out money to do all of these things, I need to know, and I need to have some way to dictate that what I'm putting my money out for is worthwhile. And you as administrator telling me, well, we got a plan, it'll work out. No, I need something tangible. I need to see something that's showing me what my dollars are going for. And it's just, it has to be a comfortable, and I'm not saying it has to be regular state testing business as usual, but there are ways to have alternatives to that. There are
Then
ways
I'm
to
back.
um
Then I'm back to my other point of, so is it data just to say you had data, or you want to make sure it's valid data? Because when you start talking about an alternative, for example, we'll use the AP exam as an example. We had this conversation last year about AP. The AP exam, they changed the AP exam so much last year just to say they were giving an exam.
but
Are those scores,
studies
are those scores even valid?
but no, that doesn't make them invalid. What I'm saying to you really be is, listen, let me finish what I'm saying. What I'm saying, when I say an alternative assessment or alternative, the only mechanism of assessing a student is not state standardized sit down testing. You know that, and I know that.
But
What I'm
that's what we're
saying
talking
is,
about.
you were pushing back on me saying alternative assessments, or alternative ways by which to make assessments on student progress. We need to have that, even if it's just for the sake of seeing the educational gaps that have happened over the period of COVID, or seeing where, how we need to move forward after post COVID. But at some point, there has to be an assessment of what has happened during this time. I don't think that you can go through this amount of time where students have been in instruction, like you said, teachers out here busting their behind, providing instruction, and you say, "Oh well, no, we don't need to worry about what happened during that time. Let's just act like that time didn't happen." We need to have some way to assess that.
I don't have a problem with that. But what I don't want it to be used for is for the purposes of deciding whether students, and whether for penal, Lord, that ain't what I meant. To penalize people and to be used as a gauge to say, oh well, you should get funding, you shouldn't,
Oh yeah.
because
Oh well, definitely. That I am definitely here
that's what I'm
for.
talking about. I don't have a problem with, again, my district is still doing benchmark testing. But what I'm saying is that data is not going to be as valid as the benchmark testing we did last fall, or last school year in the fall, or the benchmark testing we'll do next school year if we're back in the buildings on a regular schedule. That's all I'm saying. I understand that there's still I absolutely think for the purposes of research, we should be seeing how did the kids progress in a virtual environment and all that. I absolutely have a problem with
I'm
that. I
curious.
have a problem with this standardized testing that we're going to use to gauge whether you should get federal funding or how much federal funding you should get. That's my issue.
What I do think is, I do definitely, we have to assess. I like to see the research behind it, only because before COVID, I was looking at when I was doing when I was at the district level and teaching the teachers. One of the things that we were going over and researching was the push across the country, and this is going back to 2019, toward more virtual and online. This is before COVID. We had no idea COVID was coming, but as I think at that point, I think about 38 states had a formalized virtual school platform where students could go K through 12 already, totally virtual. And how from 2014 to 2018, those numbers, had skyrocketed as more people had done more of that. And so, and students are more akin, students, now let's be honest, students today more so than 20 years ago, more so than 25 years ago, hell, more so than 10 years ago, are more equipped with being able to deal with virtual than we give them credit for. And I think that we a lot of times make exceptions for them and say that they can't because of maybe some of our own old people shortcomings, and they can handle it fully well. But I love to see the data. It was interesting. That wasn't even the most controversial thing that he talked about, y'all. That was just a little
I
light
don't even
ride.
know how we got off on left field.
Right. I don't even know how we went on that tangent. Some of the more controversial things, two more controversial things that he talked about. They asked him about a case in Fairfax, Virginia. And in Fairfax, Virginia, what was happening was um, they were making it where teachers were required to get the vaccine in order to go back to work. And so they were putting teachers on at the top tier level to get the vaccine as soon as it's available. They asked him about that. He said point blank, I don't think teachers need to. He didn't say, I'm not quoting him, but basically he said, I don't think that it needs to be a requirement for teachers to get the vaccine in order to go back to work.
And he said, I don't think the teachers need to have the vaccine in order for schools to open safely. Yeah.
In order for schools to open safely, and which essentially to go back to work, but in order for schools to open safely. I don't know how I felt about that. Now,
Well, again, as somebody who doesn't want to take the vaccine, I'm all right with them not making it a requirement because I don't want to take it. So,
I said this to somebody the other day. All of this talk and worry about vaccine, and everybody who's screaming has taken a vaccine to go to school. Multiple vaccines
they
to go to
absolutely
school.
have taken a vaccine. I'm not opposed to taking a vaccine. I'm opposed to taking that one right now. Right now.
Well, would you be should it be held at the same level of the other vaccines? And what I mean by that is, in schools, if your child is not vaccinated by a certain time period, they send your child home.
I think that eventually the COVID vaccine might become one of those check off the list type vaccines. Um, Again, so hold on, let me answer Kelly's question before we move on. Kelly, the answer to your question is, in my opinion, I think it depends. Everybody learns differently. And there are some children who will absolutely thrive in a virtual environment. There are other students who need that in person. And I also think it takes a certain type of teacher. Not every teacher can teach virtually. And so, again, I think it depends on the student. It depends on who's behind the screen on the other side. That's my 2 cents. El Teddy, her question was,
I think you answered it probably the same way I would. It
okay.
just really depends on it's the individual. We probably will get to a certain point because I truly believe that right now it's still probably top heavy with students who probably do better with face to face than virtual. But I do think at some point that pendulum probably will shift,
I agree
and
with
you
that.
probably will have be more top heavy, and it's closer than we think of students, especially now that we've had this long period of time
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was
with virtual learning. It is what it is, and that was a part of kind of my frustration earlier, where we have these school districts that are so negligent and not being progressive in their thinking, and how do we adequately
they weren't ready.
prepare for what is reality. Like they're living in some alternate reality that, like, they're like Trump and say, oh, this is a hoax, this is not going to really happen, we just gonna go back to school and it's going to be business as usual. Those days are gone.
I think that a lot of things, this pandemic has changed life in ways that there's some things that will never go back. And education has definitely changed. That's not to say
um
What?
Nicole, I'll get to that in a second, Nicole.
Okay. There's some things that will never, they're just going to be different because, and education is one of them there. And like you said, school districts are, it's going to be different and the pendulum will swing. And like you said, it is closer than you think. I agree with everything. I agree with everything you just said. I agree with everything.
Nicole, I don't know if you're speaking about regular vaccines and inoculations that they require for school. It really depends on what state and school district, and sometimes down to the school district. Because I know, especially if you live in a major metropolitan area, your child, they're gonna let your child go to school. It's certain grade level. It's definitely kindergarten when they enter kindergarten. I know depending on certain states, they have certain grades. I know most states the states that I've taught in, it's been seventh grade. They'll let those seventh graders come because they're supposed to get a second round of vaccinations. They say they have a deadline. They tell a parent, "Hey, boo,
Yep.
you have
Sure do.
until such and such date. After that, don't bring your child back to our school no more."
Send them home.
And now it's truancy. Now you face legal actions because they give you all types of places to go to get free vaccines, free
Yep.
inoculations. And so I know you're saying if you have certain crazy allergies, you would have to get a doctor to sign off that you can't, for whatever reason, get that vaccine, and then they would have a 504 on record for you and all kinds of other meetings that will be happening. Oh, they don't play them games by vaccines. You play if you want to. Yeah, now some places it's fifth grade. In Texas, I know they do fifth grade as well. um when I was in Texas, they do fifth grade as well. um and mainly it's the two, but you ain't going to nobody's school without getting vaccinated. No, they ain't playing them games. um you know what, Joshua? I'm, I'm not going to perpetuate or proliferate that rumor, Joshua. Lord. Anyway, um, so, but what took up the most time, and I think both you and I were surprised, was this whole transgender situation. Um, the Supreme Court had a ruling that basically said you could not discriminate against somebody because of their sexual orientation or how they identified themselves in terms of gender and gender identification and all of that stuff. Um, During the Trump administration, there were school districts that applied that to schools and applied specifically to things involving sports. Um, I believe it was Pennsylvania. There was a lawsuit that was brought up by two cisgendered girls, meaning they were born female, who had a problem because the school district allowed a trans girl to be in run against them in track. And so that brought up situations legally whether or not that somebody who was trans falls under Title IX. And so the previous administration said absolutely not, that doesn't apply to Title IX, and they put documentation and paperwork in place saying that. But then Biden's first day, one of the first things he did was he said, yes, that does, Title IX does include trans people, and you cannot discriminate against them. And so, on the Republican side, the questions were placed to him about whether and how he felt about trans students specifically being able to participate in sports. And it's always one side. It's always, I mean, for obvious reasons, but it's always mainly on the female side where you have biologically born cis girls competing against trans girls who may have biologically been born male, and whether or not that is or is not fair. And so he was pressed very hard on that. He was pressed very hard on that. I don't know. I don't really be what you have to say about that.
Um, so honestly, when it comes to sports, I do have concerns about trans men trans women, excuse me, competing. I do. But do I think that there should be equal protection? I do. So I know that sounds crazy for me to say it like that, but I do. I have concerns. I do. I have concerns. I mean, I think we saw it in MMA where that trans woman just totally annihilated um what they call it, cis woman. Is that the proper term?
Cisgendered, yes.
Gendered woman. So, but I do think there should be protections for trans students. So I'm here for that. I'm 100% here for the protections. But the competition, certain sports, and I know I can't do that, but I just have concerns. Honestly, I do.
As do a lot of people, and quiet as it's kept, this is not something that is akin to people within the spectrum, within the at the Rainbow Coalition compound, have the same questions, concerns, or uh, whatnot. And so, first of all, if it were professionals, and you mentioned MMA, there would be concerns. But that is compounded when you think that these are not just amateurs, but these are students and children. And so it's compounded um, with regard to that. I'm not getting paid to make those decisions. And I
Yeah,
don't want to wipe it off by saying that.
very thankful that I'm
I
not.
do want to give my opinion on it. I think unfortunately, once you say it falls under Title IX, you can't have it both ways. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like
I can't. Yeah,
once you open up the Pandora's box,
I know.
I don't know how, and it's not fair. But um, just because you get what you want doesn't mean that it's going to go exactly how you want it.
Right. And and that's the thing. And that is, I mean, again, I speak for myself. That is sort of that tricky, because I want protections. I think they should have protections. I think that should just be the norm. But again, I honestly do have, like, do I care about the bathroom situation? No, I don't. I used to have concerns about the bathroom situation, but I've evolved. And but that not so much anymore. But I do have concerns about I don't know, but again, it is tricky.
I don't know that well, I know with the bathroom situation. I still don't think we've worked out the bathroom situation.
We haven't worked it out, and let me say, I spoke too soon. I do still have concerns, but I don't want to go down that road. I don't want to fall into that rabbit hole.
Um,
We can talk about that another day. We can have that
on another
conversation
teacher
another
project
day.
2.0.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so but you're right. I mean, I guess I'm Van Jones in that sense. I'm sort of riding the fence
We're
because
gonna get to that later. Oh, that's when we get to the second half of shit. When we go back to Silly Saturday and not just Teacher Project
you
2.0.
know,
Oh God.
so anyway, I'll leave it there. I'll just leave it there that I do agree, and I know that I can't have it both ways. So if I had to
Mhm.
choose one, I would choose protections. You know what I'm saying? If I
And
had,
sometimes you fight for something and you get the win, but there's always some ramifications to that. There's always
careful
residual.
what you wish for, you just
For example, I don't know what I was just saying. For example, um,
I
when
get I
with the
get that.
fight
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
with the fight for integration, even though technically they didn't fight for integration, they just fight for equality
For
amongst the
quality, right?
schools.
Which I think a lot of people.
But what ended up happening was with what was regarded as a win, you had integration, and you had for a lot of black schools the dumbing down of, and watering down of education for black students. Because let's be clear, the education that was going down at these in a lot of cities, predominantly black schools, by their black instructors and administrators, was second to none. And unfortunately there became this whole, you know, that was one of the and then you it trickled down to, the gentrification of it all, and how some of our neighborhoods and our thriving, they talk about that on that show Bell Collective, how some thriving thoroughfares and neighborhoods in areas have now lost their luster due to that thing. So even though that we got that part there, it came at a cost. Almost every win you have, when you have a win, there's going to be a cost. Something has to be expended, even if it's just energy and time,
Mm-hmm.
for you to get a win.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Go ahead to the next because we almost.
So let's real quick, and then last two things on Teacher Project 2.0. So there's a lot of pushback. We got Chicago public schools that have said, listen, Chicago school commissioner said, we locking people out. If they no show on Monday, we locking the teachers out of school. CTS, Chicago, the school, the union for Chicago has said, oh, y'all looking for another strike in 2 years? Okay, go ahead and lock them out. Do it. Do it. In Philly, the Philadelphia school superintendent said, we opening school for K through 2 on I believe the 22nd it is. The head of the teachers union told them, don't none of y'all go to school. Do not go to work. Continue with your online virtual, because we do not know and do not trust that these people have done what they said they was going to do, and they have protected you. So we got opposing side. We got the head of the teachers union telling Philadelphia teachers don't go to work. We got the superintendent saying y'all better go to work or there's going to be disciplinary action.
Well, DC public schools and my union people have been calling me all week telling me about what's been going on. But the district attorney for I mean not the district attorney, the attorney for District of Columbia Public Schools filed a TRO to try to prevent a strike because teachers were talking about a strike. And again, remember we talked about this on Teacher Project last week about Chicago being like the leader, like they set the trend.
Yeah, they don't play them games.
Exactly. And so DCPS teachers saw what was going on in Chicago and was like, okay, well, we can do what they doing. And Carl Ranson is his name. He filed a writ and was like, no, you won't. You're going to bring your ass to work. There will be no strike. And so there's been a big thing because DC went back this week. They went back. I think they're in the building on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They're virtual the rest of the week, but on Tuesdays and Thursdays they have in-person learning. And so there was a whole thing here in DC. So, it's an issue. It's a hot button issue, especially in areas where there's a union.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then
no
you run into another issue. Even if you have a union, for example, in Florida, there are unions, but Florida is a right to work state. So with them being a right to work state, unions cannot strike.
Right.
So
and technically DC can't strike because the last DC teachers strike, they signed this agreement that they wouldn't go out on strike again. But basically what happens is that the judge would just fine them for every day that they're not in the building. And then, but they can still strike. They'll just be fined. The union will be fined.
let me say this, and this is what I'm going to say about this argument and many arguments like this. This is going to come out harsh, parents. I'm just prefacing it with that. I don't like when we get into these debates where the first thing and the only thing that a lot of times the other side says is, well, what about the students and their families? As if teachers are not people and don't have their own families to think
Okay.
about and their own lives and livelihoods to think about. It's always, and I tell people all the time, you are not going to have sound instruction if all you care about is whether or not the student is happy.
Okay.
If you don't have teachers that give a damn and that are happy with what they have going on, you are not going to have optimal instruction. That's just how this goes.
Facts.
A whole mess. A whole mess. But I saw in the Philadelphia article where they were saying, well, they're neglecting the 9,000 K through 12 students and their families and they don't care about them. What? You should see it the other way around. We care about them enough to know that you need to have the school prepared to
So
receive
it's
them so
safe.
as not to
Make
give
sure
them viruses that they could carry home to their families and kill them.
Thank you, little baby, for dropping the articles. Thank
Thank you,
you.
little baby.
Little baby said Nappy Child ain't gonna outdo her. Hot
But
button issue, and it's not gonna go away the more and
yeah,
more
mm.
that school districts open up. And again, and I've said this, and it's one of those things where people hear what they want to hear. I've said this as speaking for myself, and I was talking to a friend of mine who works on the district level, and me and her sort of had like a little debate about it as well. It's not that I don't want to go back to work. I'm ready to go back to work. I hate virtual learning. I want to see my kids. I want to be in my classroom. I want to do my thing. But I want to make sure it's safe. That's it. That's all. Anyway.
I'm with you. I'm with you 1000%. Um, that's about an hour. You know what? Yay us. Yay us.
Yes.
Listen, y'all.
Before we switch, go ahead, El Teddy. I'm sorry, I'm not the host.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, because you might be getting ready to say what I was going to say, so I'm going to let you say.
No, go ahead, because then that'll save me breath.
All I was going to say was, if you are not subscribed to the Teacher Project 2.0, please make sure that you subscribe. This is what we do. We are working on our consistency, but when we are there, baby, this is what you're going to get. People said they were enjoying the conversation, so come on over to the Teacher Project 2.0 and join us over there. We talk all things education from a African American, aka Black, and LGBTQIA perspective. We talk a lot about issues that are really specific to the needs and concerns of our little Black children and our LGBTQ community. So that's all I was going to say.
Also, when you go over there and subscribe, check out some of those old. I went the other day and looked at some of our old stuff. We have some really good old podcasts.
Good stuff over there.
So we give out a lot of resources and things that you can use.
We did have a 1-year anniversary. It's been a year.
Have we? It has, because I remember last year we did the Black History Month.
COVID, because COVID we sort of had to flip the where we wanted to go. We ended up having to do a lot of COVID stuff. We had like a couple of shows before COVID, and then COVID sort of took over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's been a year.
But yeah, we did. I remember now. So now we can go back to doom. Welcome to the House of Debauchery, where debauchery is always the word of the day. Speaking of which, let me see if I got a good intro. Where's my intro? Let me play that intro.
What up? It's me, El Teddy.
Oh, I turned it off.
What up? It's me, El Teddy 27.
Good at night, right about the hood.
Oh, dear God, I'm already eating a drink.
Look, a damn mess, just a damn mess. No means no, and yes means no.
Thank you, Distant Lover, for the super chat. It is appreciated.
Thank you. On another page. I don't even.
Distant Lover.
Oh, thank you so much.
Lover. Change your banner. Change your banner, sir. Change your banner.
My banner is changed. Thank you.
Oh, my bad. I did. Okay, my bad. We just switched over. So I've been trying to be professional before.
Oh, but you ready now? You here for it?
I'm.
Nook if you buck. Nook if you book.
That's every song.
Nook if you book.
If you book.
That whole first Crime Mob album was such a it was such a vibe and a mood. I'm trying to tell you. Let me get the serious stuff out the way first, okay? Serious stuff out the way first.
I understand.
It's Black History Month. I told y'all I would have a Black History little small segment. And of course, we have our historian with us who can chime in and fact check for me. So I have three people that I want to highlight. The first one being with tomorrow being the Super Bowl. Super Bowl. Um, I want to highlight the first black man who was inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame by the name of Emlyn Tunnel. Um, he was the first black player inducted into the Hall of Fame. He was a defensive back. He died in 1975. He served in the Coast Guard during World War II, and the Coast Guard honored him this past week. He was signed by the New York Giants, and then later played for the Green Bay Packers. Um, but they said not much was known about him in being in the Coast Guard and his service with the Coast Guard until recently around 2008. But shouts out to him. You often hear about a whole lot of other firsts in the NFL, but I know even me, I wasn't aware of the name of the first black player inducted in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Nope.
So I was certainly glad to get that information for you. His name is Emlyn Tunnel. That is Emlen Tunnel. And he was a defensive back. Back then, back in them old days, corners and safeties were basically, they just called them defensive back. They were just DBs. They didn't have a whole lot of differentiation when you go way, way back in football. So that's our first one. Any thoughts on him?
No, I did not know his name either. Hey, Monk Chip.
Hey, Monk Chip, boo.
Seen you in a while, girl. I know
she's been around. I see her in my chats. She's been around.
Oh, well, she
I
ain't
noticed
Monk channel, but I know you be working, girl. Yes. But this is something new, so I learned something new. I was not familiar with his name, with him by name.
You know, we are football gurus over here. So you know how we go.
It's always good
to not know his name.
Yeah, always good to learn something new because I did not know. Did not know.
And a lot of times, like I said, I know you and I both like to highlight lesser known people or people and moments in Black history. So that is Emlyn Turner. The next one is a young lady. Well, she's not young anymore. Diane Durham. Diane Durham. She's the first Black woman to win a USA Gymnastics National Championship. Now, if Jada was on here, me and Jada could have a whole long conversation about Black female athletes and stuff like that. But I was not aware of her either. She's the first Black woman to win a U.S. national championship in gymnastics. She recently died. I think she died today. She was 52.
That's it. Oh wow, she got young. Well, first of all, one, that's it. She died young. Two, wow, that's not a long time ago. When you think of some other first people like how old Arthur Ashe would be today, or Rudolph, Wilma Rudolph. Like when you think of some of those other athletes from the 60s and 70s and 50s, and I'm like, the Jesse Owens and stuff, and I'm like, that's not that old. So that lets you know that gymnastics, the color barrier is strong over there.
She and she won it in 1983, and that's not that long ago.
Well, you think Mary Lou Retton was 1984.
She won the all around. She won the women's all around.
Well, she wasn't even on that team then. The 1984 Olympic team. If she won the all around in 83, that's interesting.
I would have to look because I don't remember her being on that team.
We all remember is Mary Lou Retton. I mean, she dominated the gymnastics of that Olympics, but I would be interested to know if she made the team because I would be interested to find out why.
I'm looking. Yeah, she was the 1983 U.S. national champion. I'm looking to see. I would have to look that up because I don't know if she was in that weight. Oh, She was deprived of a spot on the 1984 team due to a combination of injuries and politics. So that means it's probably politics
Yeah,
and not
more
injuries.
positive.
You know how that goes. Yeah. So she was deprived of, because remember the 1984 Olympics was all about the US because the US boycotted
The 80s
the 1980. So since it was in
Russia
Los
boycott.
Angeles, you know they weren't gonna let no black girl go out there and be the face of gymnastics is one of the top tier
I would
sports
love.
for the Olympics.
Just passed away. I would definitely love to hear more of her story. The politics side, because I mean, injuries, that's valid, but the politics side is what interests me.
Hmm.
That's
We
interesting.
talk about biopics and stories. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Maybe
80
have a
wasn't that long ago. When you think of
maybe have Simone Biles play her character or whatever. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Even
that,
though
would
she
be
didn't
cool.
do a good
No,
job of
the
playing
body
herself.
double, definitely be the body double.
Yeah, she could be the body double, but her acting, no, we're not gonna do that.
We're not doing
Mm-mm. Anyway,
that.
so that's our second person, Diane Durham. Um, I told y'all we trying to bring y'all now the our last person. I know really B already knows. Some of you already probably know this individual, but I find more often than not that a lot of people don't. Hiram Rebels. Hiram Rebels, if you know politics, you know the name Hiram Rebels. Hiram Rebels is the first black person to serve in the United States Senate. Now, he only served for like 1 year, and and it was out of the state of Mississippi. So they weren't gonna let that go for too long. Um, but he served and he's the first one. He served in 18 what
It was
year was
right
that?
after the Civil War.
Yeah, it was I want to say 68, no, 70. 1870 to 1871. That's when it was. Um there
So
was a
Monk
vacant.
seems to be familiar with the story. She seems to be familiar with the Diane Durham. She's been dropping some stuff in the chat.
Okay.
She said they backed Mary Lou Retton more than her. So I guess it was a competition between her and Mary Lou Retton. But she did, plus she injured her ankle, so that didn't help her cause, I'm sure.
Right, but I think an ankle injury is easier to come back from. You know what I'm saying? Even in the world of
I'm sure they were looking for a reason.
right, they were looking for a reason, and they found it. They found it.
Yeah.
Mary Lou Retton was the the Wheaties girl.
Yeah, she was the golden girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
The pretty
Anyway,
smile. Yeah, the country
what
twang.
what happened was they had a vacancy in the Senate seat in Mississippi, and the Mississippi State Congress selected rebels to fill the vacant seat. They did in Mississippi. First, first black person. Now, he
So
only served a year.
right. So what the thing is this, during Reconstruction, there was a large influx of black politicians who were elected to the Senate, to Congress. They were governors, they were lieutenant governors, they were mayors. There was a large, because it was right after the Civil War, and it was that we talk about that pendulum swinging. And so you had a lot of freed slaves, or even people of color who were never enslaved, but now because of Reconstruction, and because in the beginning of Reconstruction you had those federal troops that were in the South that were making sure that things were going the way they were supposed to be going, you definitely had that large there's a very famous picture where Hiram Rebels is in the middle and the other black congressmen are surrounding him, that were the first ones to serve in Congress. And unfortunately, the pendulum shifted again, and then we started seeing the influx of the Ku Klux. That's where you saw the birth of the Ku Klux Klan. You started seeing Jim Crow coming into place. We had a new administration. Of course, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated as soon as the Civil War was over, so he could not really usher in any policies, and the people who came after him had no interest or any concern. So yes, Hiram Rebels was the first. He didn't serve very long. But there was a large group of Black politicians during Reconstruction. But unfortunately, we very quickly saw that, ugly face of racism come in. And then we saw, laws,
And then the Jim Crow era came, and
then we went from being elected to not even being able to vote in the South. So yeah, but yeah,
my study of Hiram Rebels goes to him being an orator and writer. He was one of those great orators and writers,
he was actually a pastor before.
Yeah, and so they often talked about his ability when he gave speeches in Congress. I have my students oftentimes study a speech that he gave about Black workers in the South, and how they needed to enact laws to protect Black workers because he felt like they were still working as if they were slaves when they actually were not slaves, and they needed he was fighting for workers' rights for Black workers who were not being given any during that time period. Hiram Rebels. So when you look at, a lot of these, we don't mention Clarence Thomas around these parts. Distant, dear God. He's not the first Black anything. Dear God, just no. No means no, and yes means no.
Who said something about Clarence Thomas?
Distant lover. I mean, she was joking.
She LOL, yeah.
She was joking.
He definitely threw that like absolutely. Absolutely. The Supreme Court put a kibosh on a lot of the gains that were being made during Reconstruction. Absolutely.
But that was one of I always saw that the Supreme Court during that time is one of the trade-offs for the Union, in that the Union got back together, but that Supreme Court was not here for none of that progressive stuff during that time. The Supreme Court of the last quarter, or the last third, I should say, of the 19th century, you got nothing from them. Not nothing that helped us. They weren't here for it. And so that was one of the trade-offs that I'm not going to say it was a trade-off, but the South really leaned on Supreme Court decisions to help them stay bigoted, which is why you had your
first before that. When you think about, Plessy versus Ferguson, when you think about the Dred Scott case,
decision,
challenges to the Fugitive Slave Act, like they weren't.
That Plessy versus Ferguson came during that last third. That was a whole mess. Ooh.
I mean, that established separate but equal, the whole doctrine of separate but equal. So yeah. Absolutely. But those were good, El Teddy, because 2 out of the 3 I had no clue.
Yeah.
So
2 out of 3.
And now I feel bad. I want to learn more about Diane. And I feel
because Monkchip, you got us really intrigued now, because you seem to have more information about the fact that they didn't want her to they elected to take her off the balance beam. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that Monkchip, you giving it to us, honey.
I like that. See, I like when we learn. We all can learn. We're not all knowing.
No, we are definitely not all knowing.
Jesus God. All right, so that was our serious stuff. That was our moment in Black history. I hope y'all enjoyed our moment in Black history today. One more last little moment, since we celebrating our Blackness. I sent this to you, really be I'm gonna mess up this lady's name. Ngozi Okonjo Iweala. That was probably not that far off. Was elected, and she becomes the first Black woman to lead the World Trade Organization, which is big. Huge. The World Trade Organization is not to be played with.
No, it's
The
that's
World Trade Organization is big stuff. And she is out of Nigeria, I believe. Yes. And she's the first black woman to become president of the World Trade Organization. Um I am super excited for her. The World Trade Organization does a lot of work that people don't hear about involving trade internationally, um, standards, rules, and protocols that countries should abide by internationally. And to have someone of color, a black woman, serve in that capacity is a big thing, and she should not she should be heralded for that.
absolutely.
So certainly we want to celebrate her. I know I messed up that woman's name. I know. Hey Amber.
And me, child. When I
Hey
saw her,
Cams.
I was like, I'm gonna let El Teddy take care of that. Hey, Amber.
Oh man, I did the best. You know, the English teacher in me did the best I could. Um so oh boy. Let's get these two out the way. Let's get these two out the way. So we had the terrorist attack on our country on January 6th of
Mm,
2021.
we did.
And there was one of the rioters who was identified and has been charged with she's been identified and so forth. Now, her name is what was her name, dear God? What was her
Claire,
name?
somebody. Didn't it start
Huh?
with a didn't it start with a C, Claire or something?
I don't remember her name.
We don't
Anyway, it
we don't
doesn't matter.
we don't.
She asked the judge, could she be allowed to go to Mexico? Because she needed to travel to Mexico to go, live her best life. This is after she said, yes, she did it, and she'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Sure did.
Now, if you could be anything when you grow up, I'm sure that one of those things is a white nationalist terrorist, because you will get treated with the utmost respect and get all of the benefits of the doubt and all of the exceptions of the law. So you would think that someone who is a terrorist responsible for the atrocities that happened at the United States Capitol that killed several people will probably still be in jail,
You would think.
much less be out on jail. And if you by some sheer chance made it out of jail, you really think that you're going to be able to ask a judge to let you go, not out of the state, out of the country to Mexico? No, there's nowhere in the world that you could ask for that unless you're a white nationalist terrorist in these yet to be United States of America, because the judge allowed her to do that. It's allowing her to do that. I just want to put that out there. A judge is allowing her to do that if you need him. This is what I mean when I get on here and I have these rants saying that these people are not serious about, for all of the stuff they try and put on TV and all of this, they get on TV ranting and raving, but they ain't that serious. Because you got these people, you got judges out here letting people, you could be convicted of any number of crimes and the judge don't even want you to leave the state. But you talk about leaving the country and going to Mexico.
Remember, and I know I don't want nobody to laugh when I say this. I'm really being serious. Remember, you may or may not remember, when Remy Ma was trying to get permission to leave the state to work,
Mm-hmm.
and the judge kept denying it. I mean, they denied it more than they approved it. And I mean, she literally was working to do concerts, to go on tour, to feed her family. And I'm like, isn't that what they want us to do when we get out of jail and we are reintroduced?
If this is really a correctional facility,
right? Don't they want us to be gainfully employed? Luckily for her, she had the type of job where she could make money off of her talent that required her to sometimes leave the damn state. And I'm just like, so this person who is still pending charges, she ain't been to nobody's court, ain't served no day in jail, hasn't paid nothing back to society, is getting permission to leave the country, to go to a country where sometimes they give us people back and sometimes they don't. Let's be clear, Mexico don't always agree to extradite people. They don't. And she
don't.
And not only that, but she's a woman of means. She ain't a billionaire, but she ain't poor either. She got a little change, okay? And she's in the real estate. Who's to say that she doesn't own property down in Mexico?
She's the definition of a flight risk.
Right.
Wait a minute. Not only is she a flight risk, it's like you're saying, oh, I know you're a flight risk, but I already booked you a ticket. And I already booked you a hotel stay. And mind you, we paid for that ticket and that hotel stay. Okay. Here you go.
Uh-oh.
If you come, it's okay. If you don't, that's okay too. That's what the fuck we got to
do. Cam said the caucasity of it all. I know that's right. The caucasity.
It's just a mess. Okay. A whole mess. Furthering what I'd like to call
exactly from Mexico, she could hop a plane and go anywhere.
Furthering the exposure of these yet to be United States of America. Remember, horn hat guy from the
we remember
attack with the painted face and bare chest. Remember that guy with the horns on his head? Who had a problem because he wasn't eating, because he said he couldn't get an all vegan diet in the jail that they had him in. Because when you're terrorists and you're white and you are born in these yet to be United States of America, you can do terroristic type things and you can hold us hostage and you can steal our money and you can take over our Capitol building.
Let's just be clear.
They are moving him. Wait a minute. Let me finish the story.
I'm sorry.
They are giving him what he wants. So he's being moved to a jail in Virginia so that he can get his vegan diet meal. Make that shit make sense. Please, really be. You take over because I have ceased from trying to make shit make sense.
I can't make it make sense. I think his mom is a judge or his dad is a judge or something. Again, he's connected. I'm not making that as an excuse. I'm just saying, we're
going to get to more of that in a little bit in just a second. But go ahead.
He's connected. And let's just be clear. And I know this goes without saying. I'm amongst friends. And so we all understand. If the footage from January the 6th show Black folk busting through the Capitol, doing all the things that we saw happen on the 6th of January. We already
killing a police officer.
We already know what it would be. The fact that these people are making bond and they're not on an ankle bracelet. First of all, they shouldn't be making bond. But if they do make bond, if they giving bail, they shouldn't be giving bail. But the fact that they're not even on no type of home monitoring.
Y'all sending them out the country.
Y'all just letting them do whatever the fuck they want. Okay. All right.
This is what y'all got going. But then you got people screaming, oh, we're so concerned about the insurrection in the Capitol. Y'all ain't concerned. Y'all ain't even mentioning this mess. It's happening right under your nose. These people are still in Washington, D.C. area.
Yeah.
Because they've been detained. Except for Chick who's flying out the country to go all over, the world. She's, hopping all over the place. Help us, Lord. But this is what we got going on in these yet to be United States of America. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Speaking of connections, did you get a chance to read that article I sent you about the boy?
The one that got killed?
The first one I sent you that we talked about earlier, white boy and the black boy.
No. I read the
Okay.
headline, but I didn't read the whole article. I ain't gonna lie. I read the
Okay.
headline.
So let me fill y'all in. I'm gonna start at the trial and then I'm gonna move backwards. So at the trial, there's a trial. There was a black man who was killed by a white man. The white man said it was self-defense, that the black man showed up unannounced and uninvited to his house. And then so the black man got shot several times by the white man. The black man is face up, dead on the ground. He calls his cousin over. The white man calls the black man's cousin over. Cousin is looking for his phone. Phone ain't there. He said, well, you need to call your daddy because your daddy is the deputy, is the sheriff's deputy. And the dad, takes him to jail. Now, when they first took him in, they said that there was a conflict of interest because the dad was a deputy, so they left it to the state attorney's office. But let's be clear. If you think that the state attorney's office ain't already in bed with that sheriff's department and that they ain't liable several phone calls down there to the state attorney's office said, y'all make this right, that's a whole different situation. Now, they never found his phone. Come to find out, after investigations, prosecution found that the white guy took the phone, destroyed the phone. Come to find out, after more investigations, the white boy and the black boy, the white man and the black man were involved intimately. Come to find out that the cousin, who is familiar with the situation, knew that there was stuff on the black man's phone that connected the two, pictures and text messages and stuff like that. And so, of course, he's going to delete all that stuff from his phone and all of his, information. But he had to he destroyed the black man's phone. So he said that, so his, the defense was he never had a phone on him. And so there was nobody to say, it became a he say, she say. And the other say was dead. And so they got the judge said, as much as this is not fair, because the charge that he is being convicted of is evidence tampering or something like that, the longest that he could give him was a year and a day. And then because of the laws of the state of Florida. Mind you,
I should have known it was gonna be Florida.
You knew it was gonna be Florida. Come on now. You knew. You knew. He was never charged for murder. He was never charged for murder. He was never charged for manslaughter because this all dealt with stand your ground. Okay. So
the ground.
So this black man, now the black man had come as I've been looking into the story, had the white guy was one of the reasons why he ended up, starting to come out to his family, because he did come out to his family. He had a 13-year-old son at the time. The son was the guy died in 2018. This all happened in 2018, but they just finished the trial where the guy got off recent. I think it was like a month or two ago. The guy's son and the mom and the dad of the dead of the guy who died, and I don't just want to say the guy, his name is last name is Brodus. His first name is hold on, let me look it up. Hold on. I know he goes by DJ because they mentioned DJ over and over and over, but and I know his last name is Brodus. Damn it. Hold on, what's going on with my phone? Hold on. Because I don't want to just keep saying the guy.
Right.
Come on.
Say his name. Say his name.
Hold on. More than one way to skin a cat. I guess there isn't more than one way to skin a cat because my phone is tripping. Um,
I'll find it. Hold on. I'll go back to the article.
um,
I'll find it.
but the point is that once again, you got a situation where you got somebody connected to somebody in positions of power. Dominic, DJ Brodus the second, and that's in Baker County, Florida. Um, that's the name of the black guy. Thank you. Come on, little baby, you better be coming busting through. Say she would not be outdone. Um, it is especially with this being a black gay man. So in my home state of Florida, um, it's bothersome. Um, yeah, they are on it, Cam. They are Cams. They are on it. It is a problem, and I remember hearing the story back in 2018. I didn't know a lot about it, but it was already said even back then that this was a situation where black man, white man, banging, and one shot the other one. But I hate that you have a family now that doesn't have justice for the killing of their family. You got a son without his father. You got a mother and father without their son. And I don't care what happened. I don't care what the argument is unless you were in a situation, because he said that the guy, he was unannounced and uninvited, and he tried to start off by saying he had no idea who the guy was. Like, oh, it's just some intruder. And then he had to come off of that and stop saying intruder and started saying, oh, the defense started saying this person was unannounced and uninvited. But you felt like, and then the other part of the defense was, well, he immediately called the police and he made sure that he let them know that he had to shoot somebody. Yeah, after you had done gotten rid of evidence and stuff like that.
I just, again, it is very reminiscent of a Trayvon Martin situation, because what I don't understand is, I don't understand how any plea agreement can take a man from murder to what was the charge of opening up a firearm or something like that? I mean,
no, it was because the defense says stand your ground. They had the it was then the proof of stand your ground, and once they were able to prove that it was stand your ground, he couldn't be charged with murder. So now it was, the prosecution had to do something, so they said at least evidence tampering, because he tampered with evidence that would have showed that. A mess. It's just a whole mess. A mess. I'm not going to say the name of this white boy.
It's just insulting. I mean, it's insulting.
What is going on in law schools with these people who are going to be prosecuting attorneys? Like, there seems to be, well, I don't want to condemn all prosecutorial lawyers, but a lot of times in some of these big cases conveniently involving black people, there seems to be this ineptitude when it comes to the prosecution. Like, the defense will say something, and then it's like they shrug and say, well, we did the best we could. What? It bothers me.
That whole thing bothers me. That leaves just a nasty taste in my mouth.
Yeah, it was y'all know we got to bring y'all the stuff here. We hey, we got to talk about. So, but his name is Dominic Brodus. Dominic DJ Brodus. Cute guy too, real cute too. So
I agree, Cam. You can't claim self-defense on false pretenses. I know that's right.
just a man. So your boy this week had a rough couple days. Van Jones.
Listen,
Can
you know,
update the people while I drink my juice. Can you update the people on what happened to Van Jones? Was he crying again this time?
so Van Jones went down to the View, and y'all know how I feel about the View. Y'all know that.
He loves us some the View.
I know I love me some View because y'all know Whoopi. Even though me and her had to have a little conversation last week, but we good now. Okay, we good. She admitted she was wrong and she apologized, and we moved on. Okay, so here's the thing: Van Jones went down to the good old View this week. And I think he thought he was going to have him a nice little softball interview because he has produced a new documentary on how does America come back together, some bullshit like that. And his co-producer or one of the executive producers was Meghan McCain. So Meghan McCain is one of the, I'm going to do a L Teddy. Meghan McCain was right, is one of the hosts of The View. Anyway. And so I think he thought he was going to get like this softball interview just for them promoting their new project, so forth and so on. But no, former prosecutor Sunny Hostin had some questions. She had some questions.
She was here for it.
All of it. Okay. And
I roll in the city. Hey, Brandon,
that's it. Start the petition. That's it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Oh, God.
But I can't really do her justice. Y'all got to go find that clip. Not now. Find it when we done when the show is over. But y'all find that clip. But Sunny basically was like, so, sir, people feel like you are a flip-flopper and you are selling the black people out. You were the same person that cried the night that Donald Trump was elected because you were so embarrassed and you didn't know how you were going to explain that to your little boys. But then you went on to say that Donald Trump did some really great things for black people during his presidency. But you're the same Van Jones that cried on election night.
He always cried. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm so sick of him and his crocodile tears.
Because you were happy that Joe Biden won.
We talking about Van Jones. We talking about Van Jones getting accosted by Sunny Hostin.
So Sunny was like, so black people feel like they can't trust you. What do you have to say about that? I mean,
it was so hilarious because we know Van Jones does that. Van Jones will be crying today, and then tomorrow he'll be saying, well, we got to give Donald Trump and the Republicans a chance. Wait, what? Bruh. That's like all of us, if you have multiple siblings like I do, you be like, sometimes your brother or sister will say some shit, and you be like, did you grow up in the same household I did? Because I don't know who you are. Like, what are you talking about? We grew up together in the same household, and people would think that we weren't even related.
I'm going to be honest with you. That's what Van Jones lost me when he came on here and was like, we got to give Donald Trump a chance. I was like, sir, were you not the one crying? That was But you know, okay, can I give you a little bit of gossip though? Can I give you a little bit of Van Jones gossip?
Give me a little bit of Van Jones gossip.
So here's the gossip on Van Jones. Okay. This is what I had heard when I had my ear to the streets. You know, Van Jones left his wife. You know, his white wife. He's married to some politician's daughter. Off the top of my head, it's escaping me, but I'm sure a little baby or somebody know. But his wife is some politician's daughter. She white. They getting a divorce.
I mean, what did you expect her to be? This is Van Jones we're talking about. I mean, let's be clear.
Whatever. They getting a divorce, or they already divorced or something. But rumor has it.
The rumor has it.
Ooh, that Van Jones has been creeping with
Creep.
with Kim Kardashian. And that they not going public because she's going through her situation with Kanye.
Okay, she must have a type. She like her man dark chocolate then.
Oh yeah, all of them do. All of them Kardashians like that.
She don't just like her. She like them either my shade or darker. I see,
yes.
the melanin popping.
And so yes, that is, listen, that's the rumor. The rumor is that they have gotten close and that they have been seeing each other, but they're keeping it on the DL.
Listen, Abby, I don't know. You know I'm the penis whisperer, Abby. And so I would be able to give you a gauge or what my spidey senses tell me. Abby, I don't get small. Like he doesn't give me small. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, but all of my spidey senses are telling me when I do this and put my finger in the air to see which way the wind blows, it's not moving toward the small size.
Thank you, Monk Chip. Jana Carter. So he was married to Jimmy Carter's daughter. Or daughter-in-law, something. He's connected to Jimmy Carter, but they're getting a divorce. They're going through a divorce. I'm just, listen, that's the rumor. I said it's a rumor. If I had cat's meows allegedly signed, I would throw it up. This is all.
So he's over there busting down. Now, I would venture to say he probably doesn't have small peen because Kim Kardashian is not a small peen type woman. I mean, Kanye don't have small peen. We seen his stuff. Ray J don't have small peen. We seen his stuff. I don't know what's the basketball player name? Humphreys. I can't think of his first name.
And then we know, and Reggie Bush.
And Reggie Bush, but Reggie Bush, is Jesus God. You talk about melanin. You talk about some sexual. Jesus. Woo. Should have bought a Honda, but I bought a Kia. Jimmy
Carter is her uncle. Thank you. Van Jones' ex-wife was Jana Carter, daughter of businessman Billy Carter. Jimmy Carter is her uncle. Yeah, I knew Jimmy Carter wasn't her daddy because they only had one daughter, and her name was Amy. So I knew that. Okay, yeah, she's the niece of he's the right. So I knew he was. I knew she was connected. I knew he was connected. Yeah,
I can see Van Jones working with a lot and going down over there and bussing down Kim Kardashian. It makes sense. I mean, listen, Kim Kardashian has a type and Kanye no longer fits into that type. Kim Kardashian don't like the pudgy types. Kim Kardashian like her somebody who's nice, trim, and fit. And I don't see her. That's why I don't see her liking Kanye, anymore. Van Jones, as you know, makes no bones about, being a gym rat and always, staying in the gym and everything. So it makes sense. And if he got a slab of beef over there, it makes sense. He checks all the boxes for her. He's on television. People see him all the time. She'd love to have her somebody who has a name and a face and notoriety. It makes sense. These things are all allegedly.
This is all allegedly, y'all. That's all allegedly. But that's what I had heard. Down to the rumor mill. That's what I had heard, but it is all allegedly. But what ain't
if you gonna give me,
but what ain't allegedly? Johnson drugged the hell out of him down to the View. That ain't alleged. That happened.
Yeah, no, she drugged him because first of all, footnote: if I'm just gonna choose one of the black commentators from CNN, it's gonna be Bakari Sellers before it's Van Jones.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother situation.
Hell, at this point, I would choose
Don Lemon.
Wait a minute. All right, I'm sorry. Sidebar. Have you seen Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo? The two of them are freaking hilarious together.
Listen, the way they play off of each other, I swear they be down there in the bed before the show getting it in. Cause their connection and their bond is just so hilarious.
Hilarious. Do you hear me? Anyway, I'm
hilarious. Because Chris Cuomo
is stupid. He is so stupid. I mean, like silly stupid.
I mean, he is retarded.
Because have you seen him like busting in on his daughter's TikToks?
I don't think I've seen that one.
No, it's more than one. Like he makes a habit of busting through in her TikToks, and she gets so mad. It is hilarious. It's just hilarious. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's real left. That went
real, but we go left here. We go way left, way the hell left. But if I'm talking about Van Jones, y'all know CNN, as much as MSNBC is oftentimes made out to be the one with extremists, it's CNN a lot of times. See Anna Navarro, because she be way out of order too.
Anna Navarro be cracking me up too, though.
She be way out there. Or what's the black guy name? Oh God, the black guy, the Republican black guy. I can't think his name. The skinny guy. Oh, is it Singleton? No, his last name is start with it. Is it Singleton? Singletary? It's a black guy, skinny black guy. Shamar. I almost called his name. His name starts with an S. I think his first and last name start with an S. He be on CNN every now and again. He's a staunch Republican. I mean, he's one of those, I can't think of his name. Hey, Raphael. But my point is, CNN is known for having some of these people with way out there, whacked out personalities. People who you be looking at them like, girl. They call themselves the most center, but some of the personalities that they have out there be whacked out. Do you hear me? I mean, what does it say for you? You got Wendy Osefo on your network, even though I still haven't seen her on there. I ain't seen her.
I feel like that clip they kept showing during the season
and it was always the same one clip.
Because I feel like that's the only one. Because I promise, but some people told me that she was on there on election night, but I was looking at MSNBC on election night.
I was looking at MSNBC, so I don't really, But I don't be seeing Wendy like that, child. I ain't gonna take away from her, girl. If you say you over there, girl, you over there. But I
mean, I didn't see nobody disputing that she been on there. I just heard different reviews of her being on there, but I didn't hear nobody dispute that she was on there. So
I mean, if you on there, girl, you on there, girl. I can't take that from you.
I ain't mad at you, girl.
But Sunny Hostin said, listen, don't think that because I'm the black chick on here that I'm finna do you any justice. Exactly. You should have stayed up. You don't like us anyway. You don't like us black women anyway. So you ain't getting you ain't getting nothing in terms of a lightweight question from me. I'm giving you all the smoke and all the pressure. Do you hear me? All of it. And she was here for it. It was comical. It was hilarious. Do you hear me?
Paris, Denmark.
I think that might be him. Let me see. Now I got to go look him up. I could have had the name. I know it when I see him. I know exactly who he is when I see him. That's probably him though. Oh yes, that is him. Oh. He gets on my nerves. That is him. Paris Denard. That's him. Paris Denard. Oh, he gets on my nerves. Listen. If you want to be mad, if you get ready to go fight, okay? And you want to find something that enrages you and gets you to the point of fighting, go Google Paris Denard on YouTube and see some of his clips from CNN and see if you want to go out and just start windmilling. You just gonna want to go out and start windmilling because you like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's so maddening. Like he gets you to that point where you just want to fight. When you do like, wait. Did I say when you want to fight? Did I say that? Abby, did I say that?
Fight. I want to fight.
Abby?
I want to fight.
I want to fight. Who want to fight? I want to fight.
He's so stupid. He's so
That was for
stupid.
you, Abby. That was just for you, Abby. That was for you. But listen, he will make you want to fight, and that's what they be having some whacked out people over there. Whacked out people over there. So, because I left your channel so quickly yesterday, ma'am, because I had things to go do, and I had children to go hang out with, and
Yeah, I owe my people an apology because I had to leave quickly yesterday too. I got a phone call and I had to go take care of something. So
I did not get to have the discussion about the Harris family and all that they seem to have going on.
And their family hustle that is no more.
Baby shark do. Listen, did you think that they weren't gonna snatch you up? Listen, Nick Cannon got snatched for a few anti-Semitic comments. Okay. That he walked back and backpedaled and pussy popped off of after doubling down, I should say. But he backed off of it. But he get but
called him and said, "Sir, the way your bank account is set up,
right.
You might go make some phone calls."
But Nick Cannon got exponentially more money than the Harris family. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
And way more shows, way more invested in media. He was president of Nick Teens, CEO of Nick Teens a few years back. If he can get shut down, T.I., you and your little meat, and you and your wife looking like she belongs as an extra off Fraggle Rock.
No.
Need not think that it's not gonna happen to y'all.
I'm not doing this with you. Nope. No.
They're not gonna even play the show no more because they don't want no parts of those allegations.
Nope, they sure don't.
Now, here's my thought.
The only thing that I'm mad about is, are we never gonna know what happened with LaToya and Tommy? Are we never gonna get the backstory? I'm joking. I don't give a fuck. Go ahead.
I don't know. Listen, my thought is this. When it first came out, I was one of the people of the notion of, child, what is this? What are we talking about, girl, y'all? But as it started to get more traction, trust me, it wasn't because Shekinah was over there crying on her what was that, Instagram or Twitter, like one of them lives.
Yeah. And I don't
and stuff. Shekinah.
For the record, that I don't never need El Teddy or Abby to be that kind of a friend to me. If that's the best way you know how to defend me, just don't. Just don't. I think El Teddy froze up. Oh, okay, he's back. Okay.
Oh, I'm here.
Yeah, I don't need you to be that kind of a friend to me. I don't. Nah, we good.
I feel like now that I think about it, probably what could have happened was maybe the ladies authentically thought that they was going over there for a threesome bust down. But the way these people are moving gives me that it wasn't a threesome bust down. It was a whole sex party. And these people came over there thinking that it was, as somebody came over there thinking it was a threesome, and they walked in the room and you got a whole sex party going on. And they were like, this is not what I signed up for. And at that point, the language might have changed, which then makes it non-consensual.
But see, I think part of the problem now is we're no longer talking about one person. There have been multiple accusers.
That's what I'm saying. Multiple people.
Yeah, Lisa Bloom is now representing one of the accusers, and that's a whole nother situation. One of the stories I read, she was talking about CIAA. Now and I know it goes down during CIAA.
Wait, Tiny's friend's name. Which friend?
What happened?
You talk about Shekinah? I think you talk about Shekinah.
Oh yeah, checking her because she said I need a chuckle.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna ever call her by that name because that is a biblical name tied to the good Lord. And I don't think that woman has anything tied to our Lord and Savior. So she'll be, well, technically, when you pronounce it more in the Aramaic fashion, it would be Shekinah. So guess I should call her Shekinah. I don't know, whatever she is.
Well, whatever it is,
I think they in trouble. Y'all in danger.
they're in danger. And like I said, one of the stories I read was from CIAA. And again, you know it goes down CIAA. And the young lady's story, I'm not saying that she's not lying because I don't know these people, but her story was very credible the way she told the story from the point of view that, they was having that T.I. Tiny was there for CIAA weekend. They were in Charlotte, which we know CIAA used to be in Charlotte. She said they were in Charlotte and they were there and they were having, they were there for some sort of event. They were hosting a party or something. And she got invited to come up to their hotel room and they took their cell phones and she told a whole story. And that's not to say that people don't lie, but the story was very elaborate about another woman who wanted to leave and she ended up going in the back with them.
Also, no, but did the girl say it was just the three of them or did she say it was multiple people in there?
No, I'm saying there have been other women who have said, yeah, it happened to me too, but at a different party, at a different situation. Yeah, there have been different accusers, is what I'm saying. Not from one.
Okay. But what I'm saying is, did you hear the whole interview of the whole story that the girl told?
Which one? The one I'm talking about, or
yeah,
yeah? I read it. I read it. Wait,
and that was my question when you read it. Did she say anything about it being just the three of them, or was it like a situation where she walked in?
No, it was a group of people there.
See, and I ain't even listen. I had not even read this, but I just surmised in my brain that people might have gone there with the anticipation of, okay, I can do a threesome, Tiny and T.I. Put that on my resume. Come in there, and now you in a whole sex party.
I mean, DNA doesn't cover illegal activity, Monkchip. I said a DNA, Lord, an NDA. If they're saying that they were fed drugs and that they were forced to have sex against their will, NDA doesn't cover that. Now, if it was a consensual orgy or a consensual threesome, yes. But they're being accused. That's not what they're being accused of. They're being accused of forcing people to take drugs and then having sex with them, and that. There's no NDA covers illegal activity. So,
Abby, I don't know if there are ties to Candy's dungeon, but if it is, she's in danger too.
Well, allegedly the woman Sandra, whatever her name is, that made the original accusation is now she didn't throw Latoya, Lauren London and Candy in it. I'm like, what Lauren London got to do with this? So it's not, it's like you said, they're in danger. It ain't good.
Yeah. And I mean, this is T.I. and Tiny who live in Atlanta. Atlanta is sex party orgy capital of these yet to be United States of America. Do you hear me? It goes down in Atlanta every day of the week. There are dozens, even through the pandemic, dozens of bust downs and sex parties going on all levels, from the stratospheric star level all the way down to the side of the wall underneath the bridge type people. So I can see it happening. I really could see it, I'm sure, and that's where the other people get involved, because when you start to travel to other cities to do this, you might have a friend or somebody who that has ties to that city or knows, people in that city that might be down with the get downs. And so now you get them to, hey, you want to come up to, you discreet enough to come up and party with us. And it's a mess. It's a whole mess. I don't blame them women because T.I. ain't that big for me to be enduring drugs and being forced against my will. Like, you got to be coming with some heat and some weight.
I just wonder why they're forced to listen to him talk.
He do get on your nerves.
I'm just saying. Do we have to listen to him?
Oh God. Hmm. I
Um,
mean, listening to him talk is about as bad as listening to Tiny sing. Because
I
they
don't know.
always talk about how Candy can't sing. Tiny ain't the best singer either.
I don't know. Distant Lover, if there were underage women there, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about anything underage, so I'm not going to even put that in the atmosphere because I definitely don't want to tack on any extra
Yeah, I don't. I honestly
issues,
don't know.
charges, or whatnot. Uh,
Well, one thing we know about Candy is Candy keep her business tight, and she got good lawyers. So I'm sure that if there is something, I'm sure she's gonna get her name up out of that real
I'm
quick.
sure. Watch this. I'm sure Candy has already hit
Yeah,
up her people and said, "Listen, let me help you understand something. I can't go down. I make way too much money, and I pay y'all way too much money.
yeah,
It ain't going down like this.
yeah. Handle this. Handle this.
Take care of that. Take care of that, please." Um, I don't. Who you got for tomorrow, and why?
Oh, okay. So here's the thing. Here's my dilemma with tomorrow. As much as I can't stand Tom Brady, you just never bet against Tom Brady. However, I think Mahomes, you don't bet against Mahomes. So I don't know. Now, if I go with
And go ahead.
my heart is Kansas City because I can't stand Tom Brady and I just can't do it. I can't stand him. But he's Tom Brady. As much as I don't like it, it's like Michael Jordan. I wasn't a Michael Jordan fan, but he was Michael Jordan. I had to respect that he was Michael Jordan. So I don't know.
I find the same situations, but my tiebreaker is because I think Tom Brady is, I don't care how much, he's on his way out. Patrick Mahomes is coming into his prime, and we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We can't break on the future injuries and everything, but right now he's having a prolific early career so far. My tiebreaker is simply I'm rooting
Kansas
for
City.
everybody black. So
Oh,
I'm
well.
rooting for Patrick Mahomes
Well, I already
because I'm
said
rooting for
my heart
everybody
is
black.
Kansas City. Like my heart, yeah. And honestly, I just
Now they broke my heart last year when they beat my beloved 49ers. You know, I was in a fetal position crying. Actually, I was sick, if you recall. I was, if you remember last year's Super Bowl, I remember I came and did Philly Saturday, I think, and was sick as a dog the day before the
sick.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I
I
was
think you had
dog
the
sick.
COVID. I think you had the
I think
COVID.
I had COVID. That's what I keep telling people because I remember I couldn't taste and couldn't smell. I think I had COVID at that time
I
because I
think
was
you
sick
had
as
the
a
COVID.
dog. I was sick, and sure enough, hey Jason, what's going on? Hey L Love, boo. Where's Button Jessica? Can somebody put the APB out on my girl Button Jessica? I
But
ain't seen
Jessica,
that in a little minute. I have to put a
hey,
bolo out on
hey, L Love, hey, boo.
Button Jessica. But I'm rooting for Kansas City only because I'm rooting for everybody black. He's the black quarterback, so I'm gonna root for him. For Patrick Mahomes. I'm calling him my homie. Patrick Mahomes. And because I'm a Tom Brady hater. When we have the argument about greatest of all time, it is still Joe Montana in my estimation. I'm sorry. For the same people will all for the same reason people will say Michael Jordan will always be the GOAT because he's undefeated in finals. Hey, Nappy Child, glad you came because he's undefeated in finals championships. I say the same thing
Boo.
about Joe Montana. He's undefeated.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Joe Montana has yet to throw an interception in the playoffs for the entirety of his career if you need him. So it's Joe Montana. Now I'll entertain your conversation with Tom Brady because it's not like you can't, but it's to me it's still
Right, L Love. And you know, we in the moment, you know, Rona wasn't really what it is now. But when you look back on it, I remember El Teddy losing.
I was sick as a dog.
He was sick. He was really, really sick. And then even after you felt better, you still had that
I
lingering.
still had that lingering cough I
Yeah,
couldn't breathe for a long, long time. I remember that. That was last year, a year ago. That was literally a year ago.
it was really right before COVID became
Mhm.
like part of our daily vocabulary. Like we knew about it. We knew about it in
I
China.
had, and I vividly remember at the time I had heard, they would just have a small little snippet about it on the news. They were like, China's over here dealing with COVID. They think we saw a few cases here in America. And I was thinking in my head, wonder if I got that mess. Nah, I just thought it was a regular cold. Cause sometimes you get the cold and you really can't taste nothing and smell. But I vividly remember not being able to taste and smell. I was sick as it, and I remember I came on live. It was something I came on for. I think it was Silly Saturday. And I was like, listen, well, we had
We were
a
sick.
stream y'all or something. I remember I talked to y'all. I said, listen, I'm sick as a dog, but I'm gonna come on here. When the camera come on, I'm gonna be good. I'm not good right now. I vividly remember I was so sick
And
at
I
that time.
sick because yeah. Anyway, let me ask you this before we get out of here because I'm going to get off of here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
It's been 2 hours, but
Yeah, we've been on here 2 hours.
it's been a good conversation though. It hasn't been
Oh
too.
yeah, because we had our whole team. Oh yeah, once again, Teacher Project 2.0. Please go subscribe, like, share, subscribe to the Teacher Project 2.0. You can
Yes,
find the link should be pinned to the top.
and can I do a
Um,
plug? If you are not subscribed to Really BTV, come on over. I'm only 30 subscribers away from 5,000 subscribers, so come on over. Come hang out with us.
I'll be honest, distant lover. I'm not gonna watch halftime because I don't like the weekend. I don't
It's
like the way he looks. I don't like his music. I don't like anything about him. I look at him and feel the need to bathe. I don't like him. Anyway, so I'll be eating and drinking during halftime.
I think Abby. I think I'm going over best friend's house if it's not snowing. I'm going over best friends for at least the first half. Okay, so that's my last question before I get out of here. Since we're on sports, what do you think about the All-Star game? How do you feel about it? Do you think the NBA should do the All-Star game? How do you feel about
I saw what De'Aaron Fox said. I saw what LeBron said. Um, I think that they shouldn't do it. I think everybody else is canceled their All-Star because All-Star game is not a necessity. It's
and it
not something that decides anything.
right? It
It's
means
just an it's an exhibition game.
right now
I
in
think that
baseball it does decide something in baseball, but I think
even baseball canceled theirs.
no, I know, but that's what I'm saying. But in football and in basketball, it means nothing. In hockey, it means nothing.
And hockey just canceled theirs what week before last or last week. So I'm like, y'all can say this. All of that exhibition, we got the Olympics. Well, we don't know if we got them. Right now, we have the Olympics, but we don't know if we're
Right.
going to have the Olympics unless they're going to put them in a bubble.
Well, you know what technically they could because they already do an Olympic Village. The problem is a lot of the more affluent athletes don't normally stay at the Olympic Village. But if they require that, if they say, listen, it's going to be in a bubble and you are required to stay at the Olympic Village, that might be a way to do it. And everybody just tested all the time like they do everything else.
And then you're going to have, and then the problem is, I mean, it'll be great for NBC, but it's going to be no crowd.
I know
I think, but I was already down on the Olympics. I was down on the last Olympics, 2016. Was it 2016? Yeah, because that was the first Olympics without Bob Costas. Wasn't that the first one without Bob? And it's just not the same. I like my Olympics with Bob Costas. I like my Olympics with Bob. And Mike Tirico, who they had, was good. I like Mike Tirico, and I'm always rooting for everybody black. But Bob Costas is Bob Costas. And the SWAC, speaking of sports, the SWAC cancel all bans for spring football. So if you have a spring football, they're not going to have any band participation in that because they're trying to minimize COVID. I don't know how.
Wow.
Yep. So, and SWAC is the HBCU conference, and now a lot of the MEAC schools are going over to the SWAC. Like you got FAMU and Bethune-Cookman. I know both of those schools went over to the SWAC. And then that includes Southern, Jackson State, um, Grambling, Alabama State, all of those, Alabama A&T, all of those schools. You talking about a lot of band programs. So, but they have done that. Right now, they're still going allowing regular traditional stuff for the fall, but don't etch that in stone yet, because we don't know where we're going to be at with COVID and vaccinations and all of that stuff.
Yes, Monk Chip. I did my first review. Go check out my review from last week. I am reviewing Love and Marriage Huntsville. Yes.
Child, little baby, you're gonna have to hit me up because you already know I'm gonna be at Miami. You should come, really be. I'm gonna be in Miami. That is Labor Day weekend for the Orange Blossom Classic, FAMU versus Southern. Not Southern, Jackson State, FAMU versus Jackson State. It's the Orange Blossom Classic. It should be a good time. It should be a great time.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to it.
Hey, that's the first classic of the year. And I'm gonna be here for it.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. Yeah. Well, I'm getting ready to pop off of here. It has
Yes. Let me say all my goodbyes. Thank you all for doing what you do. Thank you for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for any and every contribution that you made today, and that you can or will make. As I always say, and as only I can say it, I love y'all, and I love on y'all. Y'all know I love y'all. I was supposed to come for my birthday, Monk Chip, but COVID thwarted that. Yeah, so because Ty was all excited and ready, and COVID said, "No, we ain't doing that." So, but I'll let you know, Monk Chip. Anyway, I'll be in. Where am I coming? Really be? Where am I coming?
DC. So y'all be on the lookout because
2 weeks, right?
Will be in DC. Yeah, in 2 weeks. El Teddy will be in DC, honey, getting on my nerves in person, y'all.
We'll have another infiltration of Really Be, and I'm gonna try to infiltrate the Really Be podcast. I'll get to see me, and I'll get to see face to face. We'll play us some bid whist, eat us some crabs, and drink us some beer.
Oh, we can play some bid whist. Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're welcome to come. And people in the greater DC area. Well, I don't know how much because it is COVID. I mean, we could social distance.
Listen, we already trying to get we got to try to make sure we get Jaded out the damn house.
Yeah, we got to get Jaded out the house. So, but me and all of the people that I'm coming with, we are going to get our COVID test on Tuesday of that week, and we leave Thursday night. So we will be COVID tested up and quarantining ourselves until.
Monk Chip, we're trying to make it happen, baby. Jaded doesn't like to come out the house, so we're trying to make it happen. But I want him to be comfortable as well, though. We want him to be comfortable.
But I know me and my people, we will be COVID free because we've already said everybody's going to get their COVID test on that Tuesday. We are quarantining until we leave, and then we are coming late Thursday night. Yeah, to arrive on Friday.
All right.
So that's all we got. Thank y'all so much. Until next time, I need to get some reviews out.
And
I need to do
letting me hang out on Silly Saturday night.
Collective Empire. I didn't hear what you said. It froze.
Thank you for letting me hang out on.
Oh, well, that's what we do. We definitely wanted to bring you all the teacher project so y'all can kind of see. We're not always as combative over there. We really are not. This is like the first time we had a subject on Teacher Project 2.0 where we was like really at odds, because a lot of times we really agree on most
most things.
Most things. So,
but with El Teddy, he gotta
Anyway, love y'all. Until next time, y'all.